Hello and welcome. This is the news update on AFRICUNIA TV. I'm Deborah Ezeh. Now let's get started. Daulaiba, a senior member of the Union of Democratic Forces of Guinea party, was among dozens of prisoners released by Guinea's junta on Tuesday. They had been jailed for opposing ousted President Alpha Conde's third-term bid and his controversial re-election last November. On Wednesday, he became the latest senior figure of the West African country political opposition or voiced support to the army rulers. Conde has divided Guinea financial mismanagement, inefficient administration, a justice system at the service of one man, the defense and security forces at the service of one man, to name a few. And more stories from Guinea. West African bloc Ecowas has decided to suspend Guinea following a recent coup in the country. Burkina Foreign Minister Alpha Barry said Wednesday after a virtual crisis summit. The Economic Community of the West African States, ECOWAS, also sends a meditation mission to Guinea today. Conde had come under increasing fire for perceived authoritarianism. The 83-year-old became the first democratically elected president in 2010 and was re-elected in 2015. But last year, he pushed through a new constitution that allowed him to run for a third term in October 2020. Also, even as Guineans are still celebrating the recent coup d'etat, critics are presenting new dynamics that seem unanswered. That is, how can the military guarantee a successful transition? Political journalist Sadiq Haba, who affirmed that the military rule has more pressing issues to handle, and that includes how to hand over power to civilian rule. Sadiq Haba said that the situation in Guinea could have been avoided if the international community had taken over its responsibility on time. Sadiq further said that the recent coup d'etat in West Africa, especially Mali, should have served as a warning to the international community. Now moving on the Nigerian scene, the Nigerian Medical Association and the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors on Wednesday blamed the Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, for the prolonged strike by resident doctors. The NMA's General Secretary, Philip Ekpe, and the Vice President of NARD, Arume Adejo, made the position of their groups known. It was recalled on Tuesday, Ngige, in an interview with State House, claimed that the federal government did not owe any doctors, but the illegally employed ones. And in more stories, the battle for value-added tax VAT between the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, and states got fiercer yesterday as Rivers State, spearheading the new wave of fiscal federalism with its August 10th court judgment, commenced full implementation of the state's VAT law, while the Federal Tax Agency, in a desperate bid to retain the collection of VAT, has written the National Assembly seeking the inclusion of VAT collection in the exclusive legislative list. FIRS specifically pleaded with the National Assembly to vest exclusively on its all adjudication of tax disputes, including federal tax laws, company income tax, petroleum tax, income tax, capital gain tax, stamp duty, VAT, taxes, levies, and other laws, regulations, proclamations, government notices, and rules. And in Ethiopia, rebel from Ethiopia war hit Tigray killed at least 125 residents of a village in the neighboring Amhara region earlier this month, before being driven out by pro-government forces, doctors said Wednesday. It was also recorded that there were 125 dead in Hena village. Northern Ethiopia has been racked by conflict since November, when Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed sent troops into Tigray to topple the regional ruling party, the Tigray People's Liberation Front. A move, it said, was in response to TPLF attack on army camps. And on the foreign scene, Australia has taken in more than 3,500 evacuees from Afghanistan, primarily women and children, after the Taliban took control of the country last month, Scott Morrison has said. International airlift began on August 14th, when Islamic extremists arrived at the Kabul gates, which had already occupied most of the country. As part of the effort, Australia evacuated 4,100 citizens and Afghans with visas, but dual citizens chose to go elsewhere. Many of the displaced were transferred to the United Arab Emirates to await migration to Australia, and Morrison was on the final journey out of one of the most desperate and most dangerous areas in the world. Approximately 2,500 of these 3,500 are women and children. An update from India as India's financial capital Mumbai gets ready for its biggest festival of the year. Daily coronavirus cases have surged, rising more than twofold in less than a month, even as authorities imposed curbs to prevent a further spike. Markets were bustling and streets were crowded as people prepared for the 11-day festival of Ganesh Chaturthi, celebrating the 11th Hindu god Ganesha, which begins on Friday. Coronavirus cases in the city, which were at a low of 190 on August 16th, rose to 530 daily infections on Wednesday. According to government data, Mumbai recorded a peak of 11,000 cases during India's devastating second wave this year, but won accolades for the way it recovered and curbed infections. And we move to the sports scene, where England have reported an on-field incident to the match referee after Poland's Glik appeared to pinch Kyle Walker's neck. Both sets of players clashed at halftime during the World Cup qualifier, with incensed Harry Maguire eventually booked along with the Glik. And moving on, Southgate defended his decision not to use any of the substitutions after England conceded a stoppage time goal to Poland in their World Cup qualifying 1-1 draw in Warsaw. The England boss made 11 changes from Sunday's win over Andorra, reverting to the starting side he put out for last Thursday's win in Ngige for the trip to Poland. And last but not the least, FIFA has blocked Premier League clubs from selecting Brazilian players who they refused to release for international duty for 5 days at the request of the country's football association. The world governing body has applied Article 5 to enforce the restriction period of September 10th to 14th, which will see players miss the weekend round of Premier League fixtures and also Tuesday Champions League matches. And that makes it a wrap on today's news updates. For more stories, visit our social media platform on Join Team and Pangram. And don't forget to visit our website on AFRICUNIA TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, share, and leave a comment on the comment section. Once again, I'm Deborah Ezeh. Bye for now.